My name's Casey Gordon, and welcome to the Zero Trust Security Overview by Cloud Made Simple. Today's modern organizations are adopting what's known as the Zero Trust Security Model. It's a model which is designed to protect your devices and data no matter where they are located. It's a shift from the older way of securing your organization. Traditionally, you may have focused your security on the network with a firewall and VPNs, assuming everything inside the network was safe. The Zero Trust model is to never trust and always verify. The three principles of Zero Trust are verify explicitly, least privileged access, and assume breach. Zero Trust provides a comprehensive control plane across multiple layers of defense. For identity, verify only people, devices, and processes that have been granted access to resources can access them. For endpoints, devices, and IoT devices where the security compliance of the hardware accessing your data is assessed. For applications, whether local or in the cloud, they act as the software entry points to your company information. For networking, implement protections for access to resources, especially those within your network. For infrastructure, hosting data both on-premise or in the cloud, this can apply to both physical or a virtual machine and the underlying operating system and firmware. For the data, well, this is the data itself, the files and content, whether it's structured or unstructured, and wherever it lies. Each layer is an important link in the end-to-end chain of Zero Trust. Each layer can be used as an entry point for access and can be exploited by bad actors or inadvertently by users. The key to this is Microsoft's end-to-end visibility, bringing it all together with threat intelligence, risk detection, and conditional access policies. Microsoft 365 and Azure have been designed with Zero Trust as a core architectural principle, built with best-in-class controls to deliver a Zero Trust environment. Starting with identity, verify and secure each identity with strong authentication across your entire digital estate. Azure Active Directory, Identity and Access Management, which is your central control for people, devices, and service accounts. It allows you to remove multiple credentials for different resources, enable strong authentication, enable less intrusive security behind the scenes with conditional access and Azure Active Directory, and has real-time telemetry such as identity, location, application, and device state, which allows for point of login decisions and access policies to be executed like block access, require additional authentication, or limited access with view-only mode. Gain visibility into devices accessing the network and ensure compliance and health status before granting access. Devices can be the weak link. They may not be up to date or protected. Using Intune, devices can be checked to make sure they meet security and compliance policy requirements, if they're corporate owned or personal owned, and where they're connecting from. Defender can identify breaches and lock the device out from corporate resources, then remediate the devices, place it back into a trusted state, and then regain access to corporate data. For applications, we need to discover shadow IT, ensure appropriate in-app permissions, gate access based on real-time analytics, and monitor and control user actions. We'll want to implement the use of conditional access, applying to cloud apps and local apps that connect to cloud-based resources. Intune can be used to implement policy management for both desktop and mobile apps, including browsers. For example, you can restrict work-related data from being copied and used in personal-related apps. Getting an understanding of what cloud-based SaaS applications are being used by your organization's employees, also known as shadow IT. It's also critical to protecting your data. MCAS can assist in cataloging, discovering, and sanctioning cloud applications that are being used by your employees. For example, block downloads in third-party applications or discussing sensitive topics while using unmanaged devices. For your network, ensure devices and users aren't trusted just because they're on the internal network. Make sure to implement a number of controls within on-premise and multiple cloud services, virtual networks, and VPNs, starting with network segmentation to limit the blast radius and lateral movement of attacks on your network. Use threat protection to harden the network perimeter and protect against DDoS and brute force attacks. Also enable encryption for all network traffic, whether internal or external. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint also helps secure your device network access and quickly identify and contain any incidents. For your infrastructure, use telemetry to detect attacks and anomalies, automatically block and flag risky behavior, and employ least privileged access principles. The most important thing here is configuration management and software updates so that all deployed infrastructure meets your security and policy requirements. Defender for Endpoint helps reduce your attack surface as well as continuously scanning for vulnerabilities and allowing in-depth reporting and analytics. For your data, move from perimeter-based data protection to data-driven protection. Use intelligence to classify and label data, encrypt and restrict access based on organizational policies. Zero Trust is all about understanding and applying the right controls to protect your data. Using controls to limit data access through information protection and data loss prevention to only people and processes that need it. Policies that set, along with real-time monitoring, can block or restrict access to data and files. For example, Microsoft 365 Information Protection can apply labels to documents. Actions can then control access to the data, such as encryption, limiting access, and restricting third-party applications from accessing the data. So, what does it all mean for your organization? Zero Trust is the model to adopt when protecting your organization in today's modern workplace. Most organizations will have remote workers and devices that need protection. With a Microsoft Zero Trust approach, we can protect you across the 6 identified layers without impeding employee productivity. If you're using Microsoft 365, there are capabilities built in that can help you work towards Zero Trust. And moving to Zero Trust doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can use a phased approach and close the most exploitable vulnerabilities first. For more information on implementing Zero Trust within your organization, feel free to reach out using the details below. Also keep an eye out for some further videos we have coming, which actually go through the details on implementing some of these Zero Trust security features and what that looks like for the end user.